get this so that we can get this uploaded to our YouTube channel for those people who were unable to attend, and they will be able to view this later. Anyways, thank you for your patience. My name is Maria. I'm from the UCLA Emeriti Retirees Relations Center, and I am standing in doing introductions for Aisha Dixon, who you sort of saw briefly, who is the director of the ER. We're otherwise known as the ERRC. Lam Liu is my coworker. She's also on this presentation. And Lam, do you want to just? Oh, I guess Lam isn't showing. So anyways, you may, there she is. There's Lam. Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. And so we're proud to have the UCPD partner here with us today to present on keeping safe in our digital age with cyber hacks and online scams, and also personal safety as well as our community returns to our in-person activities. And it will be a 45-minute presentation, or actually a total of an hour. Normally we do 45 minutes and question and answers, but afterwards for 15 minutes. But Aisha suggested that we just have kind of more of an open dialogue. Are you okay with that, London? Yes? Okay, great. So about an hour presentation. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our presenter, Officer London McBride, Community Engagement Officer from Crime Prevention. And he has lots of very important information to share with us today. So thank you very much. London.
Well, thank you, Maria. I appreciate it. Everybody can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, good to go. So my name is London. That's my real name, not my LA name. I wasn't, so that's my real life name. I've been actually with the university for 20 years. My first 5 years, I worked in physical therapy, inpatient physical therapy at the hospital. And then I ended up working part of the lift team, getting the lift team developed. That's in the hospital. And in like 2006 is when I came over to the PD side. So I've been with them for almost 16 years, going on 16 years. And I worked various different assignments. I was a field training officer, meaning I trained new officers that came in from the academy. I got to train them and work with them. And I worked detectives for 4 years. And then the last part of that time when I was working detectives, I did threat management. So any kind of threats or things that came into the university, student, staff, or faculty, it came across my desk. And then my sergeant and I were the ones that investigated them, found out if threats were credible or not. And we did what we had to do in regards to kind of tracking those down and making sure that our campus community was safe. Once leaving detectives, we went back out to patrol just for another year, and then came back upstairs to the job that I wanted. And I thought we're going to overlap with me being in detectives. So it's crime prevention and community engagement. So I love doing it. And it's been a blast because I get to talk to people. I get to kind of be the one to answer all the questions. Like when things happen, people tend to pick up the phone and call me because they have a lot of questions. So I do a lot of presentations on a lot of topics, you name it. And I get to go around to make sure that everyone's, whether it's classrooms, apartment complexes, dorms, you name it, are up to standard in regards to security. So I get to do a lot. My day goes by really, really fast. I feel like I don't have enough hours in the day to do what I want to do to help people. But this position is very, I can honestly say, it's very rewarding and fulfilling. I feel like I'm actually from this point, I feel like I'm actually giving back to the community. So we're here to talk about safety. Safety. So it is true. I want you all to feel comfortable, feel like you can just throw out questions. If you raise your hand, I'll call on you. If you have something in the chat that you want to put in there, definitely go to the chat, but feel free. I want this to be a dialogue because this is not going to be, I promise you, this will not be death by PowerPoint. I don't even have a PowerPoint for this. It's going to be us having this cool community conversation and about how we can together make our community safe. Because when you think about it, the way that law enforcement is supposed to fit into society is that we become a part of society. We're not this separate entity. We're not this separate entity, and it's not this us versus you mentality. It shouldn't be. It should be we are all community members with a vested interest to make our community safe, and so we do it together. So if there's tips that you know that I don't think of, I want you to help me out, and vice versa. That's how a community works. So um, when you think about safety, um, we think about the whole person. Like, how do I keep myself safe everywhere that I go? And it's not a sense of being paranoid. It's more a sense of just being aware of not just your immediate surroundings. When you think about going to and fro, whether you're going to visit family or friends, or you're just going to hang out on the day, going out to brunch or breakfast, lunch, whatever it might be, dinner, going to visit family members, going on vacation. What what does safety look like in regards to that? So when you think about it, how many of you like to uh, how many of you like to travel, right? Even if it's just getting out of the house and going to the park, you like to travel to the park, right? So you want to get up, you want to get out, you want to do something, right? I see you, Toby Ann, I see you. So you want to get up and get out and just go. And so you want to make sure that you're safe. I always think about what are the essentials that I need to take with me in regards to me just leaving the home. Um, we all have cell phones right now. We all have cell phones. We do pretty much everything on our cell phone. When you go out and you leave, what I would do and what I do now, and I started doing it, and I tell my kids to do it as well. Take a backup battery charger. Like that's something that you should have because a lot of times, and I don't know if you know, but a lot of times, if you're in an area like that doesn't have a lot of good reception, it pulls on your battery trying to get reception. So your battery can drain faster. So I think it's always important to have something like an extra battery pack with you or charger so you can charge up your phone because your phone is going to be that lifeline that you need in case you get stuck someplace, in case you need to reach somebody, in any case of emergency. And now a lot of the phones, which is really cool feature, even when they're off, you can actually still get the last location, and they can still submit. They can still kind of send out a location, which is really good, just in case. But yeah, when you're walking, when you're going out for a nice little walk, always prepare just in case you don't make it back to the house in time. So what I would do also, you have a phone charger. Anybody carry a flashlight with them? Yeah, like you have like little keychain flashlights, or you can get these small lights that are super bright. You always want to carry a flashlight. A flashlight is just good for anything. If you're going, say you park your car someplace, or if you're going down the street, and a lot of times, especially during daylight savings when it starts to get darker, you want to carry something with you that you can light your path. If you're going in unfamiliar territory and it happens to be dark, sometimes you go to restaurants and they try to set the mood and the ambiance. Uh, Sometimes you just can't see, and you want to make sure that you're able to kind of light those paths for yourselves to be able to kind of move to and fro from where you need to be. And also that flashlight, and this is why I am so big on flashlights. Also, that flashlight is a safety tool, right? It's a safety tool because what that does, especially these flashlights now, they are so bright. If you happen to be approached by somebody that say they want whatever you have, or they might be trying to do harm, That flashlight acts as a safety device because if you shine that flashlight in somebody's eyes, that gives you enough time to walk away from it. That gives you enough time to move to get to a safe location, to to yell or scream for help, or hit them with something. It gives you that time. Oh, I see a hand up. Patty. Am I right? iPad 3, Patty?
You're muted, Patty. Would you like to speak? You can unmute yourself.
I asked her to unmute, but I'm not sure. So there's in case you don't know, Patty, there is, and anyone else, there is an option, an icon, which says mute or unmute. And if you click on that, you're able to unmute yourself. Or you can also type it in the chat, but maybe we'll come back to Patty.
Yeah, we can come back to Patty.
Thank you.
I'll make sure to circle back to you, Patty. No problem. So, like we said, when you're out and about, you want to make sure that you have essentials with you that could help you just in case you stay out a little bit longer or in any kind of emergency. A flashlight is always good. Like we said, a flashlight is always good to have in case of emergencies. Another thing is you can get a small medical kit that you can put anything in there from ibuprofen to Tylenol to whatever, to bandages, to things like that. It is so wild now when I think about a lot of the things that I never thought about, and from what I do now, especially having children, like I'm always like prepared for this maybe zombie apocalypse. I'm always ready for that. So I have everything with me, from EpiPens to Benadryl to you name it. You just honestly never know. So it's always good to carry some kind of kit with you, just to make sure, like, that you can take care of yourself. But I really like the flashlight, the backup battery, and a lot of the times keys, right? Keys they don't just get us in and out of our locations, but they actually can serve as defensive tools um, just in case someone tries to approach you or even being attacked. You always want to make sure that you can have some kind of an impact weapon with you that will stop somebody from trying to do you harm. And that flashlight works as well as something for you to use, if you're walking around during the day. How do you feel like when you all are walking outside, or you just kind of going, taking a stroll? Do you all feel safe? What do you do? What do you do to maintain your safety? Anybody? How many of you have dogs?
So I'm sorry. Yes, I do have dogs, but I just wanted to say, so I get onto campus very early in the morning, and I come in on a van pool and I walk across campus, and it's dark right now
Yes.
to this time of year. So one of the things that I remember that someone once told me is that we should really have our awareness at the highest level possible. So as I'm walking, I'm looking back and forth, and I might look a little bit crazy, but that's one thing that I was told, and I do that. I don't know how effective that is or not. I mean, it's been effective, but
that's perfect, Maria. I mean, that's perfect. I think everybody should be aware of your surroundings because things change. You don't stay here. You don't stay in this area. So when you come back to campus, I mean, you'd be surprised. A day makes a difference. 15 hours, 24 hours makes a difference from what's possibly going on the campus. And you always want to walk, looking around, making sure you're aware of your surroundings, just because of the fact that people drive on campus and they have no regard sometimes of pedestrians. So you always want to be aware of your surroundings. You always, especially at night, that flashlight will come in handy
Yeah.
as well too. And if you're here on campus, it's good to know your surroundings because what we have too on campus are those emergency lights, those emergency call boxes. And it's the ones that you see. Have you all seen them? The ones with the blue lights,
Mhm.
the blue lights up on top. Those are actually, if you press those actually come directly to the police, and they know where you are. And a lot of the newer ones are have cameras attached to them. So once you press that emergency light, the PD knows where you are. As a matter of fact, a real person gets on, is on the other end talking to you. So you let them know, and it's basically a two-way radio. You talk to them, you let them know where you are, you let them know what's going on, and um, and they'll get you the help that you need. How many of you all come on campus a lot? So Maria, I know you do. Who else?
I think a lot of our retirees are not coming back on campus
Okay.
too often yet. I just
Yeah,
wanted to mention that a couple of people in the
I like
chat, and
I
this is
saw
great for
that.
our population. Um, they're bringing canes on their walks. Yeah,
Yes,
great idea.
yes, 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 definitely. I mean, canes, hiking poles. I see Sid says
Uh,
carry a hiking pole on walks, always scanning, always, yes, always making eye contact. Yeah, and
What
moving with a purpose. That
what about
is huge.
what
Yes.
about pepper spray?
Pepper spray is great. Yeah, carry pepper spray. That's totally fine. And here's the thing about pepper spray too. You got to remember when you use pepper spray, you want to go for the eyes, the nose, the mouth area. And once you deploy the pepper spray, get out of the way, move, walk away, do whatever. Because the thing is, some people it affects immediately. Some people it takes a little bit. It takes a little bit of time. So you use it as a deterrent, and then you get out of there. And I love the fact there you carrying canes, you carrying things like that. Those are great weapons. And here's the thing, and I try to tell people this all the time when we do safety, any kind of safety presentations. You have a life. Your life is valuable. You know, you were created to be here, and you have every right. You have every right to protect yourself. A lot of times, when sometimes people have a mentality of if something happens to me, then I just got to go with the program. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. It's one thing that I teach my kids. I have 5 boys. I have 5 boys, 8 8 to 18, and I tell them and I tell my wife. I say, hey, look, if something happens, if you're walking and somebody tries to attack you or whatever, fight, 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 because I'm not gonna know what's going on. I don't get the spider sense tingling or anything like that. I don't know what's going on. So you have to protect yourself as though no one is coming to help you. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's the mentality that you have to have, especially when someone is trying to do harm to you. You have to fight like nobody is coming to save you. So if you have those canes, you have those walking poles, go at it. Go at it with them. Keys in your hands, pepper spray, whatever it might be. They actually, and you all should look it up. If um, let me see. I think the company is it should be. I think that's it. Axon, I believe. Um, these are the people. Matter of fact, let me just find it for you. But these are the people that actually. This is the company uh, that makes our tasers, and um, they actually have civilian models for tasers, and tasers are great, great tools. And I think if you look at those, you can actually get those. And it's that company, it's Axon. And so they have civilian model tasers, and they're great. They're great. And I've been tased like 3 times, and I don't want to get tased again. I'm just letting you know that right now. 3 times is too many. So it is definitely a good tool to have. Whether you're walking, wherever you might be, is good. It's just a good tool. So if you're able to look into that and do research about that, that's a great thing to have. At home, what about when you're at home? What things can you do? What things can you do to make sure that you're safe in your home? I think the biggest thing is this, like, so if you always circle back. I think I do this, faithfully. Always circle back when you're inside the house to make sure that your line of sight to outdoors are not covered. And I mean, hey, sometimes you might have to call, someone to help, or you get out there and trim the hedges, but you want to make sure that your line of sight to outside is clear. It's a what I do here also is it's called crime prevention through environmental design. So, in some instances where you would think that, okay, well, I need to protect my privacy, I need to build up hedges in front of my windows and things like that. We would say don't do that, because the more eyes you have on a location, or the more you can see out, you can see if people are trying to approach your house or things like that. You could see if things on the outside are not looking great. So in case you need to call emergency personnel for somebody, maybe a neighbor, or you see something that's happening outside, you want to make sure that you have this line of sight to be able to see. If you want to protect those, say you want to protect those windows from being approached, instead of if you're cutting down, like if you're cutting down the bushes in front of your windows, and I know growing up in Carson, I grew up in Carson, and my parents at my parents' house, they have this rose bush that's under the window. So I don't think anybody wants to try to break into that window because they got to go through the rose bush. And so those are things to have. It's called defensive shrubbery. So you usually use defensive shrubbery or defensive vegetation, and you place it in front of those windows so that nobody wants to approach the windows, but you still have that line of sight. Cameras. Cameras are perfect. How many of you have cameras? How many of you have Ring? Does anybody use the Ring? Ring is great. If you're able to get Ring, get Ring. Ring is perfect. It's really inexpensive, and it will give you more visual capabilities in your surroundings. And they actually have, and it doesn't matter where you are. Say you live in a condo complex, apartment complex, or even a single family home. You can actually get the Ring, like say you got a peephole, you can actually get the Ring peephole. And that's pretty cool. We actually have that at our home. So somebody comes up, rings the doorbell, it's right there, and you can see who it is. Sid, you got your hand up.
I'm not
There
sure
you
if
go.
people, oh, there we go. Okay. Sid, you're unmuted if you want to ask your question.
Sorry, no question. Excuse
Oh.
me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm going to remove the hand there if I can. Lower hand, here we go. Okay.
And so another thing is even at home, and I know we're talking about physical safety at home, you know, with sliding glass doors, things like that that lead out into patios or things like that. Um, putting putting those broomsticks or those wooden dolls in the tracks to stop people from being able to access those doors when you're not home. Those are always good. Those are always good to have to make sure that those things are in place. A lot of times when it comes to home safety, when you think about it, and I think about it too, just by walking around, where I live, a lot of times with home safety, it's just, kind of just putting stuff up, making sure that, I think the biggest thing is making sure that if you're going in the kitchen and you're using appliances, that you put those appliances away, that you make sure that the stove is off. You make sure that you unplug the iron, things like that. The safety tips like that for home tend to be the things, the things that get us in trouble are the things that we kind of take for granted because it's something that we use on the daily. So I think it's just being a little bit more mindful of a lot of the things that we use, a lot of the appliances that we use, just us being, with what we're familiar with. Sometimes we get a little comfortable. And I think being able to just remember that is huge. Yes, exactly what you said, motion lighting. So talking about outdoors, especially when it gets dark, to be able to have motion lighting that that comes on if somebody walks up to your location. I think that's big because that alerts not just you, but it alerts people. And it also is a crime deterrent because nobody wants a light shining in their face. That coupled with cameras is perfect. And even just having lights, depending on, especially at nighttime, just having lights that kind of mark the pathway up to your door is huge, because it keeps you safe. Any kind of entry or exit points, especially at night, you want something to kind of light that area. Like places that are that could be possible spots for people to hide in. You always want light there. So even if you have some type of LED floodlight that comes on at dawn and goes off at dusk, those are huge, because what you want to do is any place that looks like somebody can maybe hide there or camp out there or any kind of, maybe try to surprise people from there. You want to put light on a location. And the reason why is because people don't want to be seen. So if you can shine a bright light there, people tend to walk away and move away from those locations. Another thing in the home is this, and I understand, and I put this under home tips as well. We get a lot of robocalls, right? We get a lot of calls, people calling and saying, "Hey, you just won $1 million. This is what I need you to do," right? There's always a catch, right? There's always a catch. Remember this: if you didn't fill out anything, chances are that call that's coming in saying you did something, you probably want to run away from. And we get a lot of them, even if you think that, you might have filled out something. Remember this, our information is out there. And I mean, I don't know how many times I've gotten text messages from people. I was like, I don't even know you. Like, I don't know who this is, but they will try to fish you. Is pretty much calling phishing. Like even emails that you get, when you're checking your emails and you see it's from something that it looks official, but a lot of times it is definitely not official. You don't want to click. You don't want to click on anything. Like I said, back to the phone calls. There's a lot of There's a lot of phone scams that are going on. There's a lot of internet scams that are going on. There's one that still actually goes on to this day where someone pretending to be either the police or the FBI or the IRS will call you and say something to the tune that you have a warrant for your arrest.
Mm.
And let us know where you are so we can come pick you up. As a matter of fact, they say, we're coming to your house to pick you up. But you can stop this from happening if you pay this amount. Okay, here's the first clue. If the police, FBI, or anybody has a warrant for you, they're not going
Not
to
gonna
tell
call
you.
you.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell
They're
you.
not- trust me. We don't tell people, hey, everybody, just want to let you know you got a warrant and we coming to get you. No, we don't do that. We don't do that.
Don't do that.
So that's a big no-no. That's a big no-no. Do not buy into that. And if you do get those calls, one thing you can do is look and see the number that it's coming from. And a lot of those numbers are kind of spoof numbers. They're kind of they bounce off of all kind of different servers, so you really won't be able to track it. But just remember just remember that those are the scams. Those are the types of scams that are out there. But they ask for your information. They want you to do certain things. We've had them here where they've talked to students and not just students, but faculty and staff as well, and say, hey, I need you to send me like X amount of dollars in gift cards, or else this is going to happen. And people get they get afraid because of the circumstances that they explain to the person, and they go off and do it. Here's the one thing to do. If you ever get a call from the police or FBI or anybody like that, call the police, the FBI, or whoever they say they are. Call them and ask if there's anything like that going on, because they'll know, especially in your area, depending on where you live. If the police department says, hey, we're coming to arrest you, get your clothes on, get ready. Like, call your local police department and say, hey, did your officers, do you all have a reason to come here and arrest me? Do you have, and you knowing that they don't, they're going to be like, okay, well, what happened? And you get to tell them your story. So actually then you're actually making a police report, and they can track these types of things. Another thing is on those, on the internet scams, when you're going on the computer and you're dealing with those things that you probably didn't subscribe to, but next thing you know, you got an email saying, hey, I'm looking for a roommate. Can you, I'm willing to pay first month's rent, so I'm gonna send you a check, and you go deposit this check and then send me some money back. Yeah, don't do that. Especially if you're not looking for a roommate. Don't do that. Don't do it at all. But that's another typical scam that we've been seeing, from looking for roommates to even internships or job offers. And they'll say, hey, I'll send you X amount of dollars in a check for you to buy equipment. And then I just need this in return. You send this back to me in return. Those are definitely scams. Maria, were you about to say something?
Yeah,
They- they-
I received, okay, I received a text message from a 317 area code regarding an Amazon order. And I know I didn't order an Amazon order. So I looked up the area code, Chicago Police Department. And then the 800 number they wanted me to click on, 877, it is an information number, but I didn't do anything. Because I figured, why I didn't order anything, and why would the Chicago Police Department contact me?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, all scams. I just got one. I got a text yesterday saying, hey, you're supposed to meet me at the airport. And I'm like, I don't even know who this is. Like, so, I didn't even text the person back. I'd usually just like now with your phones, you can actually delete the message and you can qualify it as junk.
Junk.
And so you just send it off into wherever junk phone number land once you once you press the button. So yeah, you don't have to, you don't have to be worried about those things. And I think that's the biggest thing. If you know that you haven't done anything, then you're okay. And here's the thing, even if, trust me, especially when the ones that have to do with like the police or FBI or anything like that, there's some indication that, here's the thing. And I know you all are great folks on this call. So you shouldn't be getting calls from the police anyway. You shouldn't be. So if somebody's saying, hey, it's the police, hey, we got a warrant for your arrest, it's fake. You should know that. I mean, yeah, not unless you you hacked Candy Crush or something like that, maybe. But other than that, you probably don't have to worry. So I think everybody on this call is good. So when you see those types of calls or those types of emails, there's actually a website that you can go to, and you can actually tell the FBI about the kind of calls or the kind of emails that you receive. And I'll put that in the chat, but it's called ic3.gov. And ic3.gov is the FBI's website for cyber crimes. And so the FBI has a ton more resources than local PDs. And so you can always go to there and actually fill out a report. And they do a lot of the investigation when it comes to cyber crimes. Let's see, Karen, I see in the chat you're getting a call from someone claiming to be AT&T and that they're changing lines.
Yeah, I did
Oh,
the
yeah.
same thing that other people did. And
Uh-huh.
I said, oh, I gotta go. I'm busy right now. And I hung up and I called AT&T and said, what is this? And they go, yeah, we are changing the lines, but you don't need to do anything. We're doing that, plus, but then I did get something from them that really helped me cut down on the scam calls.
Yeah,
But
that's
since
cool.
that, then a week later, the same people called and I'm like, okay, first of all, you're not AT&T, so just stop calling me. Just go
Yes.
away. Because you can't tell
Yes.
from the phone numbers because they change all the time, right?
No, yeah,
So,
they do, because
yeah.
they can spoof those numbers. And so you really don't have a clue if it's AT&T or not, because they've
Right.
changed numbers.
But the thing that I did find out when AT&T did call me back is they always play that little, those little chimes that they have that
Oh, yeah.
indicate that they play that when they call you. So you know that it's actually AT&T. So if you don't hear their little logo thing before a phone call, it's not AT&T. And so, and then the
That's
other
good.
thing I wrote was that when I volunteered at the sheriff's department, we would get at least 2 to 3 people or couples a week who would come in saying that the IRS called and said that they owed back taxes and they had to send this money, blah, blah, blah. And then
Yep.
what do we do? And we're like, dude, the IRS will never call you.
Never.
They only do things by mail. And so I can't tell you how heartbreaking it was to see these people come in week after week. So that's
Yeah.
another one that's very popular, is claiming to be the IRS.
No, you're right. And we were getting those calls here, even at our police department. And I remember talking to one of the folks, and they were telling me, hey, yeah, we're the IRS. We're looking for London McBride. And I was like, hey, you called, this is my work phone. I'm London McBride. And it was like, okay, yeah, Mr. McBride, we need you to pay this amount. And I was like, I know this is not the IRS. I was like, actually, as a matter of fact, I'm a police officer. And once I told them that, they hung up on me.
They hung up.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Another
knew it was a scam.
Another common one is, you mentioned gift cards. So people will email you saying that they are your friend. They'll have a name. I don't know how they know who. I got one who they said they were a retiree. They used a retiree's name and they said, my name is, Jane Smith, retiree. I'm hurt. I'm physically hurt. I cannot get to pick up a gift card from, and I can't remember what the vendor was, but can you go pick that up and send it to me? And I almost fell for it because I know many of these retirees very well. And I thought, oh, poor Jane Smith, she's, hurt and she needs a gift card. And then I thought, wait a minute, the email address doesn't look familiar.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was a scam. And I guess that has happened to many of our retirees as well.
Yep. And and they play off of that as well. And it's crazy. I don't know. There's a lot of information that we'd be surprised that's already online. And they just grab a hold of that and they start phishing. And that's basically what they do. Speaking of that, Valerie asked me to put my contact in the chat, and I just did all that.
Great. And also, we will follow up with an email with everything that's in the chat and additional information that we can put together as well to everyone that's here on the Zoom. So, and I want to be very sensitive to your time because I know you're very busy and have a lot of important things to do. So I don't know if we're well into our hour. So if there's anything else you want to add, or if anybody has any burning questions.
Yeah, feel free to ask me. Here's the cool thing. Like you all are my valuable time. So being able to hang out with y'all is, like I said, I think I have the best position here.
That's great.
Hands down. So I love it. People always say, well, what do you do? Like, what's your day look like? And I was like, whatever you want my day to look like, it's all up to you. So if it's coming to hang out with y'all, if it's coming to talk, that's what my day looks like. So it's pretty cool. I definitely enjoy it.
Great.
So yeah, if you let me see how to stop robocalls. Robocalls are kind of weird. So now, now you'll probably get like robotext or things like that. And a lot of times you just have to ignore them. You can block them, but they end up spoofing another call. Like another phone number. So you tend to get them. But you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to answer. You don't have to deal with them. Like I said, when they come in as a text, you can always put them to the junk folder, and then that is supposed to stop. That's supposed to stop a lot of the calls. Definitely, just to kind of circle back on the email thing, make sure like you are looking at the emails that come to you, because you can always check to see like, okay, yeah, this is not a familiar email. I'll be the first one to tell you, no joke. Because our chief is like, my chief has my cell phone number, and so I've talked to my chief, not, like offline, like not at the station. And I get an email from him that's like, hey, London, I need you to do me this favor. It's a surprise, yada, yada, yada. And because I have this relationship with my chief, I fell into a conversation with a person that wasn't my chief. So I'm emailing back and forth, and I'm like, hold up. So, because then after that, it's like, okay, it's weird because the chief would never say anything like that. So it's always good to know the people that you're talking to. And then once I clicked up on the on the email, I was like, this ain't even Chief's email. So I had to email our IT department and say, hey, I've been communicating with the fake chief, and send this out and let people know that this is going on. So trust me, we get spoofs and a lot here too. But yeah, it's just being very observant in regards to that. So I'll answer any questions that you might have. But one thing that I want to tell you that I can honestly say with all of the safety stuff that's going on, and you think about how do I keep myself safe, especially within my community, whether I'm going someplace or I'm walking around the neighborhood or whatever it might be. I think the buddy system works great. Always being with somebody. You don't have to go anywhere alone. You don't want to go. You can always call somebody and utilize that buddy system. I think that's important. When you're going to your cars, for those of you that drive or even take public transportation or anything like that, always keep your valuables close to you. Always make sure that if you're going to your car that you have your keys already in your hand. The good thing about some of the cars now, you can unlock the door and it's just the driver's side door. So if you have that feature, definitely just utilize that feature just to keep the driver's side door unlocked when you walk up to the car so that no one can try to sneak in through the passenger side. And even when it comes to like say something does happen and someone comes up to you and it's a robbery and they're saying, hey, give me your belongings. You know what? Give it to them. Don't try to put up a fight. Don't do anything like that. If somebody is saying that this is what they want, then give it to them. You can always get other things, but we can't get another you. So you got to think about that. So just if they're asking for it or they're demanding it, give it up. And I think you're fine. ATMs are going to the banks. I know that was something that's a big topic too. What do you do? I tell you this, definitely don't go at night. I don't go at night. So don't, and I'm 6'1", 260 pounds. Don't do it. Don't do it. And if you go like during the day, make sure you go inside. A lot of these standalone ATMs, it's good to know your surroundings, but if you could go inside of the branch and do your transactions inside of the branch, do that. And before you come out, make sure your the funds that you withdrew or whatever you've done, make sure that there is no trace of it in your hands, that you put it all away and that you walk out with your hands free. So those are just little safety precautions that you can use just on just a day-to-day thing. How many of you use Uber or Lyft?
Yep. Yep. Dude.
All right, so using Uber and Lyft, another cool thing. The cool thing about Uber and Lyft, they can track you. They have those tracking features. What I do, and honestly, what I think is a great app, especially with relatives and friends to use if you have iPhones or even if you have Android, a great app to use is Life 360. Life 360 is a great app. I mean, I know iPhones have Find My iPhone and things like that, but my family and I even use Life 360. My parents are 82 and 81, and they still rolling around. They'll take a trip to Vegas. They'll go do some way wild stuff, and I need to know where my mom and dad are. So I make sure we all have the Life 360 app. So all of us are connected and we know where one another are, and especially in it is a free app. It is a free app. It's a free app. And if you say you pay a subscription, you can just get extra features. But for the most part, the free app is perfect. You could see where they are. It tells you their location. The part that you pay for, it kind of tells you if they're in a car or not, because you can actually see the speed. But other than that, it's actually great. You can tell when the phone is the battery is low. So I give text messages to my boys all the time. Charge your phone, charge your phone, charge your phone. So it, like I said, I love it. I love the app. You know, my mother-in-law is in Texas, and she said, "Hey, you know, link me to the app so you all know where I am on vacation." And so, I mean, that's what we do. So it's another good app. It's kind of like having a buddy with you, if you happen to go someplace. If you happen to go someplace or traveling, and traveling by yourself. But you know, I think the biggest thing when it comes to safety, the safety and security of everywhere that you are, is really just being aware of your surroundings. Being aware of your surroundings when you're walking around, walk with a purpose. Keep your head up, keep your eyes forward, looking around, and you know, I think that's the biggest thing. Don't get sidetracked with your phone, and things like that. Just always pay attention. Always pay attention. And I think those are the things, those small things putting into practice, will definitely keep you safe. And I think that's really what it's about.
Great information. This has been really, really good. I know I definitely have several takeaways. I'm guessing that the audience does as well. We live in a scary world, unfortunately, but I feel definitely a little bit more encouraged by the tips that you shared with us today. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Yeah, really good. Anybody have any last minute questions? Or I see a lot of people clapping. I think everybody really got some good information today.
This
Well,
is
thank you.
Sophie Cronin. I'd like to ask London, do you consider a dog part of the buddy system?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
All right. All right. I recently lost my dog. I'm not, and he was like my ballast, but I
Oh,
knew
I'm
he
so
was
sorry.
there. Yeah, it's been rough, but whether to replace him, I'm not there yet, but this is one more bit of information that will
Oh yeah.
get me there sooner. All right.
No, definitely a great buddy to have. And I think about it too. I mean, just, you know, a lot of times, you know, I mean, we know, I mean, when it comes to pets, like they look after their human family, you know, and I think it's the coolest thing. And they become territorial. It's like, nope, don't mess with my human,
Yeah.
you know. So I think it's super cool. I think about we have a dog as well, and she's a 3-year-old pit bull, and she
Mine
is
is-
amazing.
Yeah.
And like, but her human like is my 8-year-old. So it's like she's good, but if my 8-year-old and he's playing around and he yells, she comes running. She's like,
London, I'm going to tell you something. I had a pit bull mix with a
oh
shepherd, and I mean Alaskan, whatever. He was
yeah,
wonderful. But I was scared when my son first brought him because of the pit bull reputation.
yeah.
We had grandchildren. That dog, Marley, took care of 3 little girls. Unbelievable from the
Unbelievable.
Yeah, the kids brought their receiving blankets home, so he had that before they ever brought the babies. He is extraordinary. The oldest of those is now 10. He's gone, but you know, it just changed my whole view of these animals. It's
Yeah.
who takes care of them. My son told me that in the late 1800s, every home had them. They were called nanny dogs.
That's so true. So true.
So
Yep.
anyway, thank you for this. It's been great.
No, it's
I have to go now. My friend June Sale, who was director of the Child Care Center at UCLA many, many years ago, is coming for lunch. So good.
Yeah.
Very nice. Have a great lunch, Toby.
Have a
I know
great
June
lunch.
too. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. I think that will do it for us today. I
All
hope we
right.
can have you back again. I
You
really,
know what? Whatever y'all need, I am here for you. No doubt
Yeah.
about it.
and
This
great
was
meeting
fun.
you. You
Great
did
meeting you too.
you're not only full of information, but very personable, London. So
Oh, thank
really
you so
enjoyed
much.
this today. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, yeah, anything, my email, you got my numbers and my emails. Let me know what you need and I'll be there.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
All right, y'all. You have a great rest of the day and a great week.
Bye-bye all.
Bye-bye.